The Great Pay Gap Reveal. Salary transparency was supposed to fix pay gaps. Instead, it's exposing how bad they really are. Let's start with the data that's making HR departments very nervous. Research from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that pay transparency laws have reduced the gender pay gap by 20 to 40%. But here's what that number actually means. It reveals that there were massive gaps to begin with. For example, when companies in Colorado had to start posting ranges, something interesting happened. The ranges got narrower. Starting salaries went up by 3.6%, and suddenly those market rate explanations for pay differences got a lot harder to justify. But transparency doesn't just affect new hires. It's creating chaos for existing employees. The awkward conversations happening in offices everywhere are becoming legendary. Employees are walking to their manager's office with job postings from their own company asking, "Can you explain the salary range to me?" Now let's be fair. Transparency is revealing some positive surprises too. Some companies are discovering that they were actually paying competitively and just never communicated it very well. Others found that they had informal equity practices that were working better than their formal policies. But the ugly truth, a lot of companies built their compensations systems on gut feelings and outdated market data. According to PayScale, only 38% of employers have formal compensation structures. That means that 62% of companies have been making up pay decisions as they go. The real mess is in companies with wide pay ranges for the same role. When transparency laws forced them to post $70,000 to $120,000 for a position, they had to explain to existing employees why some were at the bottom and some were at the top. Spoiler alert, experience doesn't always explain a $50,000 difference. Here's what's really interesting, the psychological impact on both sides. Employees who discovered they were underpaid felt betrayed, but employees who discovered they were overpaid felt, weird about it. Guilt, imposter syndrome, fear that they may be targeted for layoffs. Managers are struggling too. They're fielding questions about pay decisions made years ago by people who may not even work for the company anymore. They're trying to explain why the budget suddenly exists for competitive salaries when they've been told for years there's no money for raises. Some companies are rising to the challenge, creating fair pay bands, explaining their compensation philosophy clearly, and using this as an opportunity to build trust. Others are doubling down on the secrecy to try to find new ways to hide and avoid the transparency.